it's Deanna, and I am here today coming to you from Salt Lake City, Utah, and we are going to work on, we are all in this together with Love Quilt. And this is a quilt that I've designed that's got lots of cute little people on this quilt, and it has cute little houses on this quilt. And they're just kind of arranged all randomly around. I am going to do a tutorial today on how to make the little people. So these little people right here. On Friday at noon, I'll do a tutorial about how to make the little house. So let me go ahead and make sure that I've got all of the, I can see all of the comments and everything coming in. And I'm going to activate so that if you would like to get the pattern, you'll know where to get it. Let me go ahead and go to Facebook where I can refresh this and see this. So how are you guys doing today? We've got a Wednesday of this week, and it looks like a lot of fun. Oh, let me mute myself. Don't need to hear myself talk twice, right? So, hi Laura. I know this is going to be a really fun pattern. So this pattern, if you are interested in getting it, you can go ahead and request it on Facebook. In YouTube, it'll be in the description on the video. So hi Kathy from Illinois. It's Kathy Groth. How are you doing? It's so good to see you from Illinois. I've got to chat with you. Oh my gosh. We have known each other a long time. Both of our kids have the same type of disability. So these are the quilt blocks that we're going to work on today are these little people quilt blocks. And I think that this quilt just has a lot of really fun things to do with it, with the things that are going on in the world right now. And we have been making some neat things this last month. We've been making the quilt, the heart quilt. I can grab that. It's right. Hi, Bridget from Germany. It is so good to see you. Thank you for being here. So we made the little love pocket heart quilts, and it has like a sweet saying on the back that we can share. Hi, Laura. Hi, Jane from South Wales. I finally am getting this pattern done. The pattern, I'm just making sure things are a little bit more accurate on it, but it will be released on Friday. But if you want to, hi, Pauline. Pauline is on YouTube. It's so good to see you. If you want to purchase the pattern, you can purchase it as a pre-sale. It is $9 if you want a PDF download. I think it's $12 or something like that if you would like me to mail you a copy. But I want to make sure both of those options are there for you. If you request it, you can go ahead and see the link where it is on my website. This one was a little bit more complicated to write, and I was trying to do all illustrations on it so that you don't have to be printing off a super long pattern with photographs and things like that. So it should be a lot of fun. But we have been making so many great things. We've been making the love heart quilts. Let me grab my small one right here. I'm going to need to unattach this because we've got the Live Well, Live Strong quilt up behind me. Hold on for 1 second. But we've been making these heart quilts that we've been putting in our windows. We have a pillow that we made too. We've been making little love pocket hearts and just sharing our love throughout the world. And I think right now is a time that the world really needs our love. I think there are so many different things going on and so many different trials. Hi, Carolyn from Texas. Hello, Terry. But there's so many different trials and hardships and things that people are facing right now. And I know that one thing that makes me feel better is when I can go ahead and sew and kind of explain what's happening to me, maybe through fabric or happening in the world, and kind of documenting this as something through my life with the things that I'm creating. And that's really something that we have been doing lately, hasn't it? Where we've been sending, sewing the little love pocket quilts and everything else. So that's what this pattern is all about. It's about coming together in love. If you guys want to do it as a community quilt and send me a little person or a little house, I will put together a community quilt that then we can submit and have it be in a quilt show when quilt shows are open. Or we can share it with somebody that is in need. So we'll see how many of those that we get. If you want to go ahead and make this, the pattern comes available as a 48-inch by 60-inch quilt or as a table runner too. So, but I can't wait to make one of these little houses to put on a hot pad and things like that too. Oh good, Pauline, you made a heart quilt for your door. I know, I have loved mine, and I've loved sharing that love out to the world, and I feel like it's even more important with all of the things that are going on, and I think we just need to send as much love as we can out there. Love to everybody that is struggling with hardship from coronavirus, or struggling with hardship from difficult, things that have happened to them as individuals and as people, and to just make sure that our love is out there to support all people, and no matter what that they are going through, and whether it's we just need to share our love and show it out there. So this little house block is perfectly sized, so you can take the foundation piece pattern that we have and put it right in that little house block. So some of your little people can be whatever color fabrics, make it from your scraps, but some of the little houses can actually have like a little heart quilt inside it. So anyways, if anyone wants to pre-order it, it will land in your inbox on Friday. I have cut all the pieces out for you, and I want to show you how to assemble this. So let's go ahead. Oh, you didn't get a notification that I was on live. I'm sorry, Liz. I'm gonna have to check into that. So let's go ahead and flip the camera. Hopefully Monday was a weird video. I burned myself with the iron. That was just bizarre. But let's switch the camera so you can see the sewing machine and the cutting mat and everything else that we're doing down here. I am actually using a design board right here to go ahead and lay out the pieces for this. So, Agatha is making the mug rug. I know, I love the mug rug. I love the pillow. I love the wall hanging. I mean, I just love it all, but I'm really excited about this quilt right here. So, I've been using a design board. I have these for sale in the shop if you're ever wanting it, but really, it's just like a piece of felt with that you just kind of glue together. So, I wanted to show you kind of how the people block, which I call this us, and you can make your people be any color, any fabric, anything that you want that to be, and use up your scraps and the things that you have in your house, especially as we've had this coronavirus. It has been a crazy time, but I think that this is just a sweet little way to just kind of, I don't know, this is a global thing and a worldwide thing, and it's just important to do. So I've cut out these pieces. It kind of constructs together in rows. So you can see right here, this is the little top piece right at the top. We have a head piece that we put little squares on that I've already drawn on. I've sewn on 3 of them. Right here is the little neck piece. This is the arm right here. We have the body section right here. I've already sewn this leg because I didn't want this to be too long for you. But this is how we construct the leg. So let's go ahead and get started. One thing I want to do is this little head piece is just one square with a bunch of squares stitched over on the sides of this square. Okay, 4 little squares stitched on top of one larger square. So let's go ahead and stitch this down. When you stitch this, you can actually stitch with your sewing machine here, 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 and here. So you could just stitch all 4 ways right around. But I'm going to stitch this one down for you, and then I'm going to show you how I go ahead and I take that and press it. When I am working, these little quilt blocks are 4.5 by 6.5 inches. So when I'm working with quilt blocks and pieces that are sometimes this little bit smaller, I will actually use a little bit of spray starch in my piecing. And when I open these up, then I'll go ahead and lay them down. And that little bit of spray starch just keeps a tiny bit more structure for me. Does anybody use spray starch? Making the heart mug rug to encourage others that are struggling. I agree, Agatha. There's just so many things going on out there in the world, and I just want to share my love and do everything I can to just help the world be a better place and to understand others and what other people are going through. So you can see right there, that's the construction of the head. You will see when this is stitched in with the other pieces that it then becomes like an octagon, okay? So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip back my flaps right here and trim off that excess fabric. So I'm going to just take it by 1/4 inch and flip these back. And then that way I don't have too much excess fabric laying around. So now this little head is all finished. And I am hoping, I don't know with you guys, but I think having a whole bunch of different background fabrics would be really pretty. Having printed fabrics on here would be just really fun. But does anybody use spray starch? Yes. So we've got Belle loves the best press. Yes, I do too. So I'm going to go ahead and press this one more time. Sometimes when I'm pressing things and I'm wanting things to lay flat, I might put my ruler on it and then my little iron, just like this, not just resting or some weight on top of it. But let's go ahead and lay that back down. Okay, so let's go ahead and construct the legs so you guys can see how this is done. So we are just going to go ahead and put this in the corner like this, and we're just going to take a portion of that, have mainly this line of the leg. But this is the easiest way to go ahead and show you how to do this on the pattern. So let me line those up, and I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine. And let's go ahead and stitch this down. When I do stitch, I'm using a smaller stitch length, so maybe a 2.5 stitch length. Nothing too crazy. And I wanted to show you on this particular block, and I did this a little bit too extreme, but another thing is I have the line drawn right there, but sometimes I just stitch a little bit more to the right of the line so that when I fold this back, I'm for sure going to get the entire piece that I want there, okay? So let's go ahead and I'm going to stitch this on this side right here. And so once again, when I stitch on this line, I'm enjoying using a solid background so I don't have to worry about which side is the right side. And the background that I'm using is called bleached denim, and it's just a solid, kind of like light background fabric, but there are so many great fabrics out there. So let's go ahead and press this one again. Let me grab my pressing mat, and I'm going to give it just a little bit. We could set the seams, but let's just give it a little bit of a spritz there and press that over. And I'm going to want to trim this. So let's go ahead and trim this off. And then I'm actually going to just fold my little seams inside. I just think these little people, are just fun and just easy and just a fun little item to actually piece. So to piece together. Oops, I didn't get that one quite all the way through. Okay, there we go. So let's press this one more time. Now that I have the bulk out of there, and I am actually going to press my seams to the inside of that leg piece. And that's just my own personal preference. I think anything is just fine. So you could open your seams, you could close them to either side, whatever you want to do. So there's those two leg pieces. So let's go ahead and construct this together as we go up. So I'm going to lay the iron mat a little bit over. We're going to need this to square up. So I'm going to put these two pieces right sides together. Oh, Melody, you can get the pattern on my website. So at stitchesquilting.com is where you can get the pattern. So if you want to put in the Facebook comments, where can I get the pattern? Then it will send you a link as to where the pattern is. It's a pre-sale right now. I am just writing a few more things on this. I'm going to kind of go up my row and just sew these in chain piecing together. And then, but it will land in your inbox as a PDF pattern on Friday morning. And if you purchase the PDF or the hard copy pattern, you will get both the PDF and the hard copy too. So let me go ahead and put this on here, and then we'll take these pieces off as I'm just kind of string feeding my whole little person all at once. So let's go ahead and lay this back down and give these a little bit of a press. So there's just been, so I have just felt like as I sit here and reflect the world and all the happenings and everything else, it just feels good to sew and to feel like I'm kind of sewing something that just feels better and listen to things and educate myself to be a better person and to be, to just have love out there in the world and to put as many good vibes as I possibly can out in the world. Okay, so this is the body piece right here, and this is the neck piece right here. But this actually sews together quite quickly. You'd be surprised. And it cuts together quite quickly too. I'll show you for the house. One thing I do is I just kind of layer up all my different colors and fabrics I want to use. Layer up my green fabric for the grass. So, and Friday at noon, I'll come on live and do a tutorial on the house. On making and constructing the house. It really is just basics piecing. And that just comes together quite smoothly into your little 4.5 inch block. So I just kind of sew these in segments of rows, and then we'll sew those together to be our 4.5 inch size, 4.5 by 6.5 inches. There we go. And we've got this last piece. This also will be a shorter PDF pattern, at least so you don't have to use a ton of ink. I'm trying not to have photographs in there per se, so that then you don't have to use gobs of ink on your printer, right? Okay, let's go ahead and press these open again. And let's see how we're looking. This is already ready to sew, to stitch together our little person. And I think it's so interesting how the things that we've experienced have been a worldwide phenomena. Okay, so this is the little top of the print right here of the block. This is the little neck piece, and that looks a little crooked right there. I might just fix that real fast. I just kind of went a little wonky. I know that's silly, but I don't know. I just want it to look right for you guys. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's press that one more time. I dropped something inside my sewing machine and was trying to use a magnet yesterday to pull it out. Okay, so now we just kind of assemble these together in one segment. Do you see how fast this goes together? It's really quite amazing. Okay, so here we're going to use a 1/4 inch seam, and you want to use a 1/4 inch to a scant 1/4 inch seam when you're assembling these. So I'm going to line these up. There aren't a lot of things that are not going to match on here, so you don't have to worry about your points not necessarily matching up as much. So I'm going to pull that through. Let's go ahead and just stitch these together. So I would use a true 1/4 inch seam to maybe a scant 1/4 inch seam. Here we go. And they just go together very, very smoothly. And they aren't difficult at all. And it's kind of fun doing the cutting. It's relaxing. I can listen to an audiobook and then just sit there and pull out lots of different colors and fabrics along the way. Let's go ahead and just sew this little the arms to the body here. So what do you guys like to listen to or do or watch when you're sewing? I've been listening to some audiobooks, and there's just great things out there that are uplifting and that are positive and that have got good vibes and things to educate ourselves with. And I've certainly been doing that. So you can see how simple this is to just assemble. And it just it just all comes together. We could be pinning here. So if you're maybe new at sewing, you could be pinning as you're going along. I'm not finding that really necessary, especially as I've been sewing several of these. I have a table runner pattern that accompanies this quilt. So you'll have both patterns in there. And then of course you can take these blocks and you can make, like, I cannot wait to make a hot pad with the little house and the little people. Oh yes, I love listening to audiobooks or podcasts or, I love listening to things. I really do. I really love listening to just about anything. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a little press right here. Okay. And right here, it looks like I could have maybe shifted his little body over just a tiny bit. I don't know why I'm saying he. Okay, so now we're going to stitch this one on right here. So I might, later I'll unpick that because you can see how the waist and the legs kind of match up just a little bit. So let's go ahead and stitch the head on. And then you'll see where the head just really has the octagon feel to it. But it goes quite quickly, these little pieces. Okay, here we go. So you can see we've got that one right there. And let's go ahead and put this last little piece on. And there we go. Pretty good, isn't it? It's just amazing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just take this back over to the sewing machine. I'm making sure I've kind of got the right width here. Go ahead and stitch that on and bring that right on through. Here we go. And then, of course, like any other quilt block, you are going to measure your quilt block and you're going to see and you're going to just square it up just ever so slightly. Okay, so let's go ahead and give this a good pressing and a little bit of starch. All right, and let's go ahead and get a little bit of starch on there. And I am going to measure where I'm at and then square this up. And if I have anything just slightly off, I can go ahead and unpick and correct that. So let's go ahead and see where we're at. Oh, that's right at 6.5. And let's measure this side. This side is a little bit, this one I might just increase. I might have gone a little bit wider on a stitch length over there. And let's see if we have our 4.5. We have it right here. So that's pretty precise. And right over here. Let's see here. Yep, we've got the 4.5. So this is something where I would go ahead and just square this up ever so slightly. And just make sure I've got an accurate seams going on here. And just give it a little squaring up on that block. I might actually go back and unpick this little waist right here so it matches up with the legs a little bit better. And I might even do this little neck one. So you can see just how simple that is, how quickly that goes together. I think it's really going to be so much fun to go ahead and combine all of these. Let's go ahead and change the camera back to the front camera. I am so excited to assemble this and to get this all completely made. But you can see how simple that is, how quickly it goes. The cutting really isn't that bad. It's a lot of 1-inch strips and 1.5-inch strips, and then you just kind of cut them down to the different sizes. I definitely used some little quilt markers, which I'll add this as maybe a page to the pattern if you guys are interested in these. This is also a different download I have over at the website, are some quilt markers. I did have someone request that I kind of do it a little bit more grayscale so that you don't have to use as much printer ink. So I'm working on that, and hopefully I'll get that done soon. I am finding it helpful to actually piece these on a design board and to lay out my pieces, and I kind of stack them together and then just kind of pull the different colors that I'm working on at that moment. So, but really they do go together rather quickly. So, but I just absolutely love this little house, love the little people that we have here. And I can't wait to make you another house. If we were going to do it for you, do you want a certain color for the background? No. If you were going to mail me one of these as a community quilt to kind of represent our, oh, Denise, great question. How do you square up? Okay, I will answer that in just a minute. But we are going to do a community quilt. So if you want to sew a person, which I call these guys us because it's all of us, isn't it? And or if you want to sew a house and mail it to me, I'll have the instructions in the pattern with my address and everything so that you can mail one to me and put down where you are in the United States or around the world. And then we'll have a community quilt that we can also do. And I'm so anxious to show you how we can take the little foundation paper piece block that we've been making as a little love pocket quilt and put this inside the window. And instead of having the blue square, we will actually have the heart square. So on just a few of these little houses, and which I think just shows that we have love in our heart and love out there for the world and love for all and compassion for all the things that people are going through. Whether it's, things that are not humanly right to be doing to other people, maybe where people have lost their jobs and where people have gone through such terrible, terrible things. This has been such a hard time, this pandemic for everybody, but it's also been a hard time where there's so many people that are struggling and having difficult times, and that we all need to be unified and we all need to come from a place with love and to support each other. And that's what I hope that this is all about, where we are all in this together with love. And we need to come from that space of love, and we need to make sure that people are just being treated right and being treated in a humane fashion, and that that our love is out there for everybody, but that there is. So, but please, you can use any kind of fabrics, use any kind of backgrounds. I think it's going to be fun to see all the different fabrics and the backgrounds of colors that we have as we do it as a community quilt, and then as you also make your own. So let me go ahead. Denise asked, how do you square up the block? So let me go ahead and show you that, Denise. I'm going to switch the camera back over to the view above the cutting board. So what I have here is I have my quilt block on a grid, and I can see that I am just right about at 4.5 inches here. Did the camera switch for me? Let me see. Let me go ahead and switch that camera. I hope it switched now. Here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to line up the quilt on our quilt block, okay? And I can see that this is 4.5 inches here, and that this is 6.5 inches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 inches here. So if I had some little wonkiness going on, I would then lay this on here and just ever so slightly trim this up. But I do have a good size here. On this one right here, that I just stitched, I'll probably want to go ahead and make sure that this maybe shifts over a little bit and re-stitch this, because we're right at that 4.5. I think that the arms are just slightly, I put the head, the neck maybe on. You can see I didn't quite follow a straight line over here. So I'm going to go ahead and repair this one because this is going a little bit too far. And this is a little short over here. But I go ahead and I lay it down, and then if I've got little wonkiness, I then go ahead and square it up. Okay, yes, did it switch again? I'm such a numbnut. Okay, sorry, Jane. Sorry, you guys. But that is how I go ahead and square up a block, is I lay it down on the mat, and I see if we've got the 4.5 by the 6.5, and I do that with any quilt block that I'm working on, and going from there. So yeah, okay, so I'm back on the front camera. At least I'm talking to you guys. Okay, so you guys, if you want to, this will be available on Friday. You can pre-purchase it at Stitches Quilting. Anyways, it's going to be so fun, and it will land on your inbox. I'll come back on Friday. We will do a video on how to assemble the little house block. and I will show you how to put the heart window in there too. So anyways, I'm so excited to see you guys. Please stay safe. Please be well. And please stay safe out there. And may we all have so much love for anybody and just have compassion for all the people out there in the world, people of color and people of things that are going on, and just anybody. I think this is just such a difficult time, and we just need to share our love out there and our support for everybody, and just come from a place of love and not from a place of fear. So and we don't want people to fear, not anywhere. And I hope you guys are staying safe and staying good in your own homes, and be well and stay safe. So I will see you guys a little bit later, and I will see you on Friday and we'll stitch together the little house block, and I'll have a table runner to show you guys and more of the blocks. So anyways, we will see you guys later. Have fun. Bye-bye.